Kamehameha and the other examine the burned food storage at the start of Chief of War Episode 6. Kamehameha disagrees with Kayana, who believes Keoua should be dealt with promptly. She believes she can persuade him to join them without causing any bloodshed, and Kupuohi, Kayani's wife, concurs. Given Keoua's bloodlust, Kayana thinks this is based on a false hope, but Kamehameha chooses to have faith in the women. Kayana chooses to rely on his firearms and his newfound allies because he lacks that same trust. The paleskins, in particular. The English appear to be on their side when he warns that war is approaching these shores, mostly because they stand to gain a great lot by maintaining this new trade agreement. While the tense conversation with Keoua continues, Tony instructs the indigenous on how to handle firearms. As the prophesy predicts, Kupuohi thinks that if he and Kamehameha band together, they can unite the dispersed kingdoms. This doesn't work out. When Keoua challenges Kamehameha's devotion and motivations, Kayana threatens him with a gun before they part ways, even though Keoua won't be breaking bread with him anytime soon. King Kahekili is getting ready to launch another attack in the Oahu district, but many of his supporters have doubts. Though he is reluctant to betray his father, even if he disagrees with his belligerents, Prince Kupuohi is a far better candidate to guide them ahead since he combines strength with wisdom and foresight. Nevertheless, Kupuohi chooses to speak with his father and cautions him against destroying what they have created together and tainting the royal heritage. Although Kahekili supports maintaining Maui's purity, his approaches are clearly significantly different. He has the Maui chiefs who are plotting tied up and left atop a pole. When Kupuohi notices this, he murders one of them to stop the king from developing his own misgivings. It's interesting to note that if Keoua is persuaded to cruise the seas and work with his adversary in order to seize the island for himself, Kahekili might succeed. Naturally, he will be giving King Kahekili everything he has in his determination to kill Kamehameha and reclaim what is rightfully his. Keoua vows that the kingdom will be united and that Hawaii will never oppose Kahekili as long as there is peace for them in return for men joining his cause. Although Kahekili accepts the terms, he licks his lips in secret with a hint of possibility. He asks Kupuohi to include Apanui, a chaos merchant. He is a brilliant warrior and a lunatic who wants to kill Keoua and take the triumph away from him. Kahekili asserts that chaos brings the harmony of rule. Unbeknownst to everyone, Kahekili plans to assault and seize the kingdom by exploiting the turmoil between the brothers. It's interesting that despite all of the discussion in this episode about giving women a voice, they've actually made the kingdom much worse than it was before, especially in light of Keoua's. Prince Kupuohi is one of the most intriguing individuals who we haven't seen much of. It's interesting to watch him consider the ramifications of his father being a warmonger and a crazy, and it's obvious that he's not entirely sure if this is the best course of action. But more than that, this chapter is really a prelude to the gloomier days that lie ahead. Since everything has been put in place and is prepared for the larger conflict to strike the Hawaiian coast, this is essentially the quiet before the storm. It's anyone's guess how this will finish, though, considering how this one ended. Keoua is upset because his dying father divided the kingdom of Hawaii, giving Kamehameha the position of chief of war while leaving Keoua in charge of the kingdom's administration. He has no desire to set aside his disagreements with his nephew in order to bring the kingdom of Hawaii together and better protect the island from the power-hungry ambitions of King Kahekili of Maui. Even though Kahekili gained power by beating Oahu, many Maui residents disapprove of their king's belligerent actions. Kupuohi, Kahekili's own son, has questioned his father's actions, goals, and strategies. Kupuohi listens when some Maui chiefs approach him and ask him to think about assuming his father's throne since they believe he is losing his mind. But Kahekili doesn't trust his son to lead warriors into battle because he suspects him. Although Kamehameha's attempts to challenge the deeply rooted patriarchal views about women were emphasized in this episode, the plot kind of stopped. There was never going to be a way for Keoua to forgive Kamehameha in a peaceful way. However, it's interesting to note the twist of Keoua's readiness to submit to Kahekili's authority. It's obvious to audiences that this isn't going to work out well for him. Not even his mother believes he will achieve his desired success.
Even though he is surrounded by a large number of counselors, Kamehameha usually heeds the counsel of his wife, Kamehameha, and Keowa's wife, Kupuohi. Currently, Hawaii is deeply rooted in a patriarchal culture. In councils, women typically do not voice their opinions, although males may listen to their wives or mothers in private.